hello. There we go. Alright, hello. I'm gonna start streaming the game in a second, but I am trying to update the YouTube video name. So where is it at? Basic info. Okay, so this one with voice. Rebuilding almost done. Part 6. Part 6. Stormworks. Halloween update, right? Alright. That's weird. I didn't know to put that there. Okay, so that should be it. And let's see if the game's running. Ta-da! Not yet. Ta-da! Okay. Cool. Alright, so when we last left our hero, we were working on the HE111H-3, which turned out to be a mistake on my part because it is actually the images that I were using. That sounds funny when I say that. The images that I was looking at, there we go, were actually various H3 and H6 planes. So what happened is I combined two different, oops, that's not the table. I combined two different planes. So that's kind of a bummer. Oh, that's weird. You don't want that one. We want the H3, H6. So what happened is most of the features that I was doing on this plane were H6 features, whereas the H3 was a bit different. So some of the features that I had to change were that the windows down here, there was 3 on the H3 and only 1 on the H6. And then I have changes to the engine. So on the H3, the exhaust is like one long pipe here. And so I'm gonna have to swap that out when I create the H3. Figured I'd do the H3 and the H6 and then do an H20 just because H20 has a different looking turret up here, which is kind of cool. It has the more of a round bulb turret like the B-17. Actually a little flatter than the B-17 it looks like in the pictures. But I figured I would do that, and then I would beef up the H20's engine just a little bit, just a little more speed. But with the Halloween update, it appears that planes do not fly anymore. So this plane, I can't even test the Bombay in here with changes that I made because I can't get off the ground. So that is what's going on right now. So I don't know. So I usually don't paint. Oh, this is something I'd add to. This is on the I think it's on all the HE111s. Is this like an extra exhaust pipe? I don't know enough about engines to know what it is, but it's on the right side of the engines on both sides. So you see that. I also went ahead and pulled this up a little bit more, and then I changed how this looked. So I think I like it better. Let's see if I'll show you what it looks like before. So this is now, and then the old version, it was more forward, and then I had a really flat engine. I don't know if you can see that properly. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Anyways, the engine's a lot flatter. So I changed that, and then this one has multiple windows. So I will probably delete this version when I'm done with the other version and just convert the H6 to the H3 and the H6 to the H120, which pretty much just changes the this back window here. I'm sorry, the top turret, and maybe it changes this a little bit. I don't remember. I'll have to look at the pictures again. But this is turning out really nice. I'm every time I build a plane now, it becomes my new favorite one. So I really liked, what did I really like? I really liked my Spitfire for a while. And then I really liked the P-38 for a while too. And of course the 109. But now, the F-14 was just kind of cool and fun. I don't really like modern planes, but it was kind of fun. But the HE-111, I always kind of like how that bomber looked. And so, since I updated it, even more so than the original, if we look at the original, where's it at? You can see the original looks really different. There's some parts that I like about this one. I like how this window used to look more like the real plane, but I can't. What did I do here? Well, I made this whole thing less wide, and then in turn that made the whole round body here shape tighter, and so these windows can't be done like that anymore. And then I said this before in another video, but I didn't know that you could build your wings pretty much. Well, you used to be able to build your wings pretty much with the blocks and not have to use these big parts here, these aerodynamic parts. And so I did that. And then this is the old version, so I put little indicator lights here. And so when the engine starts, it randomly would shoot. Does it still work? No, it doesn't still work because it needs power. Never mind. Never mind. Anyways, the point is, when the engine would start, you would get a very cool, like little spark plugs, you know, the little firing. And then here, for this, I don't know where I got the picture of this, but I have these exhaust pipes or something over here on the sides. The bottom pretty much looks the same. Okay, in the canopy, I just kept it no glass, and then I have a seat down here, and then I had double seats, which I guess they didn't have double seats, or they had like a seat on the right side that kind of folded out for the guy that was like the bomber guy, bombarder, and so that's different. I think that's about it. And then this, of course, slides back, and then this gun can turn. That's the old one, and nice. I like the old one still. Still looks kind of cool, but the new one just kind of brings to life. Look, even in the little thumbnail, you can see like the wings are more of the correct shape of the real bomber. So you see the wings, they're all basically flat pieces now, or blocks, and then I make it a little bit thicker as I go towards the fuselage, and then the thickest part here is where the gas or fuel tank is, with the fuel spawner and so on. And then the engines, I've managed to stick 3 radiators in here, which was, where's the third radiator? Up there on top, which was working really well. And then there's the intake for the air. And then the landing gear, I used to have another, this used to extend out here, and then that would make it look kind of like there was 2 bars. But this one is a lot thinner, so I had to get rid of the bar. So it only has 1 bar, but it doesn't look too bad when it's kind of sitting on the runway. Then in the cockpit area, I went ahead and tried to do glass as much as possible to make it look like the, I forgot what they call it, gondola glass, whatever it was called. So anyway, so I did that, and that turned out pretty good. And then the engines, of course, I did this in the style of the H6, but I even experimented in here with like lights. So when the engine starts, you get the flashing lights, kind of like there's a little bit, you know, that kind of thing, sound effects included. And then I said I'd change this part, and I changed this side section here on both sides. And what else? Oh, I added the spotlight here, which is the landing lights, which works really nice. I'll show that to you in a second. And then we've got the flaps on 2 sides, because this wing is broken in half. My wings are usually broken in half whenever I need the upward gull wing to go just a little bit. So there's a pivot, or the rotor, and then this wing, when it spawns, moves slightly upwards to give it the the gull wing look. What else? In order to fit in this bomber, I had to tighten up this whole seat here, so it's a bit smaller and a lot better, I think, and you can like walk besides it. The bombs are hooked by the connectors here, and then you'll notice that these have what are they called? Rails. And so the rails go ahead and when you open the bomb bay doors and you hit the bomb release button, the rails move downward and bring the bomb downward, and then at the bottom they just release the bombs. And the reason I had to do this, every time I've built one of these bombers, if your plane is not going at a slower speed and you're not level, the bombs will get stuck inside the bomb bay. So what I try to do is let the rail push out the bombs and then let them go. It's not exactly realistic, but it kind of works. Back here, I got sick of seeing all the logic, so I built a door, and there's all the logic. And all my logic is usually color-coded by what it does. So brown is usually related to landing gear, dirt, colors. Red is usually fuel. Blue is usually wings. Yellow is usually related to power, electricity. Gray, what is gray related to? I don't know. I didn't mark it. I forgot. So I got electricity, landing gear. You can see the little icons I make. Electricity. I don't know what the gray is to. What is the gray to? Go somewhere so I know what it's to. It looks complicated, whatever it is. What does it go to? Oh, there we go. So what does gray go to? Gray goes to way over there. Oh, the bomb bay. Shoot. Should we make an icon for that? We should, huh? Let's make an icon right here so I know that this is for the bomb bay, because it's really not good if I can't remember my own color scheme. So I usually just make these black, whatever. And then I'll just take white, and then I will draw. Not that. I screwed up. I knew how to draw the bombs because I've been drawing them so much for the B-17. And that'll do it. So it's the bomb bay. I could make it kind of colorful, huh? I'm gonna put like a little, whoops, put a little yellow tip on it, maybe? Maybe make it gray. Oops. And then, oh, you know what? I could reverse this. And just make this, not that. Make this black. No, black. That kind of works. Does it look like a bomb? Or should the gray be in the front? Let's put the black in the back, and the gray in the front. Okay, that's my bomb. Or, you know, I could put orange in the front. Yeah, I like the gray better. Okay, so there's my icon for my bomb bay code. So now I know what that's for. And this was a light. Probably just delete that. It was letting me know that it was getting to this code. It's kind of my testing phase. So that's that. What else did I do? All of the... This is always a pain for me. I need to make like a component or something where I can remember how to do this every time because I forget. But the landing gear has... Oops. The landing gear has sensor, a distance sensor here, and then the front landing gear has a distance sensor here. And what I do is I usually take a measurement of the landing gear down and the landing gear up. And so usually those numbers are really different. If not, I put like a block here, say, and then that will block the distance sensor to a closer range. And that's kind of like my set point for knowing that the landing gear is up. Then once it's up, I have code somewhere that landing gear is brown. So probably right here somewhere like this, 0.55. When this is when the landing gear goes up and the sensor reads 0.55, say, or 0 to 0.55, it fires this code and then tells the doors to close. So it will close this door and that door, and of course close this door and that door, and then once those are closed, when you go to reverse it out, if I remember right, the code is just doing the opposite and opens up the doors because the on is off now, and so that tells the doors to open, and then the landing gear comes down. So that works really well, but I always forget how to do it every time I build a plane, so I have to figure it out. What else? Okay, so this plane, I need to show you when I spawn it, but this plane is really cool because it has a beautiful cockpit. I tried to make it like the real one. Of course, I have more buttons and more things that are like bigger than a real plane, and they could have lots of things in here. But I went ahead and tried to stuff as much functionality into buttons rather than the chair. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour of this thing. It won't fly because of, let's save it again, I don't remember if I saved it, because of the latest patch. It doesn't fly. That beep is right when it spawns, is because the batteries are dead for a second or something. So let's go ahead and get it. So this is my cheat right now. I don't actually have doors to get in here yet. So excuse me, that's something I want to do. So if we just cheat and jump in the seat here, you can see we have throttle setting, fuel level for engine 2, and these are converted now to, oh, not in this plane, I didn't do it yet, but I'm going to convert these to gallons rather than liters. But I have engine temp, and then we have indicators, temperature warning, fuel warning lights, we have the RPS on the right, we have battery levels, which is dropping fast, of course, and then we have the battery charge warning light, and the generators on off, which is done with number 3. We have the bomb release, bomb bay door open, we have airspeed, we have altimeter, we have landing gear toggle, engine 1 and 2 starters, we have flaps down, which is really cool. You want to see the flaps? Let's see if they all work. Oh yeah, the flaps are really weird, but they're up here, and so they look kind of neat on this plane when the flaps are down. And then we have a window right up there, which is kind of cool. If we look outside, the window opens, and then on this right side we have another window. Ta-da! And that's all my things here. Flaps. Oh, auto level assist. So what I found out on the Tomcat is because the weight was shifting when the wings went back and wings went forward, I had to do something that I didn't really know how to do, which was play with the PIDs, or the PIDs, or whatever they're called, because I didn't really understand them. But using them to just automatically center, or not center, but to resolve the tilt of the plane to a 0 by using the elevators, or adjust the roll by using the ailerons, I could keep the Tomcat level the whole time. And you could even go ahead and use your elevators and your ailerons, which the Tomcat really didn't have. But you could you could roll your plane, use the elevators to go up and down, and then once you let go of your keys, it would slowly start to center the plane to a 0 pitch and a 0 roll. So that helped a lot with the Tomcat. And so since then I was like, okay, why am I fighting trying to balance the planes so, like, I get the planes pretty balanced, but then I can never get them where they just are always level. So what I did is I started using PIDs on the roll and the elevator in this World War II plane. So you can turn it off for some reason. Oops, where's it at? You can turn it off if you want, and that will stop the PID, and I think everything should still work. Yeah, see, the roll, the ailerons still work, and the elevators still work. So everything still works, it's just it's not going to auto level anymore. So that's kind of cool. What else? We have warning systems, so once the fuel gets low, once the battery gets low, once the temperature gets too high, the buzzers back here will start going off with the bells and all that good stuff. So that's kind of cool. Oh, elevator pitch is over here, so you can adjust your elevator pitch, your prop pitch. Before the patch, this was working really well, so you could kind of taxi onto the runway at a slower rate using the prop pitch, and just kind of leaving your throttle pretty low. And then once you're getting ready for takeoff, you would, you know, up this prop pitch and then do your throttle, and about 0.63 all the way down the runway. At the end of the runway, your tail would lift and it would come off the ground. How much battery power we got left? Oh, it's going down fast. I better show you the other stuff before it goes dead. Okay, so real quick, this is the bombarder kind of gunner position, and he would like lay down here, and I have to put something down below for the to show that this bomb thing goes all the way down. But he would lay down here and look through his bomb thing and then drop bombs, and then this is his buttons here. Okay. Oh, I think my batteries are going dead. I'm stuck. Okay, little things like that drive me crazy, but okay, we'll just respawn real quick. Okay, so I've got problems with my bomb bay still, obviously. And did I unhook it or something? I must have unhooked it. Let's check. Hooked, 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 hooked. Well, it looks like it should be fine. Not too sure why it's flipping. Alright, well, we'll just do a hack. Can we do a hack? I can't do a hack, can I? Can I do a hack? I don't know if that'll work. Alright, let's try. So, anyways, I just want to get to the back of the plane so I can show you a few more things, and then I'm gonna end this stream and hope that they patch this game. Alright, so there we go. That kind of worked. Okay, so if we go back here, we have this back gun, which is kind of cool. So you can use a ladder, get up here, and then you can pull this back. Right? So you're in here. Oh, the pumpkin update. And then with the buttons, you can turn your gun left, turn your gun right, and shoot down the fighter planes that are going to shoot you down. And then, of course, close that back up. So that's kind of neat. I've got the side guns, which I usually make them move, but I didn't do it this time. What else? Oh, so there's all the logic. I think I showed you that already. And then, what am I missing? I thought there was one more thing. Okay, here's the bottom guns. Cool. And so, I guess the last thing to show you is a bomb bay. So let's do that. Alright. So actually I could stand right here. So if we do this, the bomb bay opens. Still, and I have to change this because those doors are wrong. On the real plane, the bomb bay has 2 doors on each side. Oh, I'm hungry. Bomb bay has 2 doors on each side, and so they open up and then the bombs drop between them. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because I don't know if I'm thick enough. I think I might be thick enough. I don't know. Might be tricky. Oh, you know what? I've done it on the... Did I do it on the 109? I don't know. I'll have to look at that. They might have to stay like that. Okay, and the second thing is, we'll just jump off this so we can watch them go down. So if I click the drop bomb button, they drop down. They come back up. And so those are timed to delay. So that the first set of bombs drop, the second set of bombs, third set of bombs, fourth set of bombs, and then they are gone. I guess the only thing to show you is what the lights look like at night. So providing we have any battery juice left, we will turn them on. Okay, oh, there's my nighttime. I don't know if I think I need like a little light in here, but that's that. And then our landing lights kind of show through. So pretty cool. Pretty happy with this plane. I'm just really unhappy that it does not take off anymore. So kind of a bummer. Really hope they patch it before the weekend because I wanted to finish this build. That's about it. The next big thing is to paint this with a paint scheme. And the H6, from the paint schemes I've looked at, they're really kind of camouflage and detailed, so it might be a pain in the butt, especially if I use any of these. Where is it at? Ugh, stomach is so hungry. Sorry, I'm hungry. These pieces here, I can't really color this part separate from that part, so that'll be all one color. But the wings and stuff like that, and these are always a pain in the butt because you can only color one color for both sides, which doesn't really work if you have like a dark color up here and the bottom wings should be bright, so that kind of sucks. But everything else, if they're not using these control surfaces, what you can do is, as an example, you can go over here and say you're doing camouflage and you're doing an orange, oops, not that one, you're doing orange like this, say. So what you can do is you can put these print blocks after you've colored like your main block. So if I went ahead and did something like this, so if I did one of these colors right here, I'm gonna just accidentally save this mess and I'll have a big giant pumpkin airplane. And then what I want to do is, you can hear my stomach growl again, I think. I'm gonna do something like this. So then I would come over here with my print blocks. Oh, there goes my stomach. Told you I'm hungry. And I would do this. And so then maybe I would have what goes with orange. I don't know what goes with orange. Let's go with brown. And then I would have brown come in here like this. This is my camouflage. This is not going to work. I'll just show you right here. And then I would take my colors. This is okay. And I would, you could be as messy as you want. I tend to just kind of go like this. And then I would just take this color and go like this. And then you could go like straight lines, or you could kind of come in here and push the orange into the brown. Sorry about my stomach, guys. Like that. And then maybe you would go like that. Just do a line there. And come over here. And just go to that brown line. You're always keeping that corner kind of to the edge of each one. And then maybe that one goes a little crazier. Like that. And then I would take brown, I think. And we can cheat now because we don't have any more things to do. We can just go like this. Okay. And then just crazy like that. I'll take the orange. Oops, that's not orange. Take the orange. Go like that. I should probably get rid of this one because it's ugly. Go like that. And then my stomach's hungry. Sorry. and then I would so let's go outside, and then if you could see, because it's, oh, it's terrible, can't see, it's too dark. 1 second, let's kind of move the plane out. Alright. This is how fast the planes are now. Look at this. Even if I speed it up, all I'm doing is raising my RPMs and my temperature. Okay. And there we go. Alright, so if you come out here, so if you see what I'm doing there is those little pixels give it a smoother edge to transition between the big square blocks. So if I go and I take all of my camo and just smooth the edges just a little bit, it makes the whole plane look a lot less blocky. And probably my best example so far is the Spitfire. Yes, Spitfire. So you can see on the edges. Can I turn this off? Yeah, well, you can see on the edges. I just went and just straightened out the diagonals on this one. But if I get a little more extreme, see, I couldn't do it on these. But if I get a little more extreme on the wings with the HE111, with doing a little bit of more curves and stuff like that instead of just diagonal cuts, it might be a bit more interesting than this camo. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So anyways, the only thing I uploaded so far, if you have been on the workshop on Steam, is the F14 is up. I've updated it to use gallons for its readouts on the dials. It flies. The jets still fly, apparently. They just run out of gas relatively quick. And then I just uploaded this. It's something I use all the time. And all it is, it has some icons I put there, but it converts, it converts airspeed to miles per hour, and that's just on the block here. And then it converts altitude to feet, and it converts gas or fuel from liters to gallons. And what you do is, you don't have to use this block itself. I just wanted something where I could go in here and copy this, and oops, I did not copy this. Well, that stinks. Let me go and fix this really quick, because I had done all that work to make it available online. So, okay, so for the gallons, it just divides liters, and then you get that. Okay, let's very quickly upload this really quick, and then upload airspeed fuel. Okay, there we go. All right. So anyways, the whole point is, I just wanted this so I could quickly copy and paste the different formulas to a function, but I included, you know, if you needed to know how this is hooked up, which I doubt. But if you did, you could look at this and see how to hook it up. That's about it. I think I will catch you later. Hopefully I will be doing the testing of the Bombays so I can get those fixed, because you saw I had a few bugs here and there. And then after this plane is feature complete with all the code, or all the logic that works on the doors and the windows and all that stuff without any issues, then I'm going to go ahead and save this plane and then convert those various versions into H3 and H20 and make this one an H6, and then camouflage this one and then go and paint the H3 after I convert the different parts of the engine and the bottom gun. And then for the H20, I've got to build a new turret. The engine will be converted. No, the engine doesn't need to be converted because it uses almost the same kind of engine here, just it has more of a dark color scheme to the exhaust pipes. So that should be it. So I'll have 3 different H3s that I'm going to release all at the same time, and hopefully there'll be a patch and I can demo them flying, dropping bombs, and all that stuff that I almost went through with you right now, but it'll be more in the release video of all the features and what it looks like with all the camouflage. Alright, that's it. Thanks for joining me. If you're into World War II planes, especially if you're playing Stormworks, you'll want to subscribe because I release World War II planes almost weekly when everything's working right. And then I also tend to demo them on this channel. And if you have a request for a plane, I've got a long list. I've got a BF 110 to do. Or is it ME 110? BF, no, it's BF. No, it's ME 110. Whew. And I've got, and I mentioned this before, I keep trying to say goodbye, but I've got all these planes that I need to update still. So the Voss has to be updated, the Stuka has to be updated, the B-25s probably need an update, This is the old 109. I want to re-release that. I got the SBD. I've got the B17 still not finished. I've got B25s. I've got the old P40 that probably needs an update by now. Lots of B25s actually, or B24s to be done. The old original B17 that I did, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I'm just going to try to update this as it is and just re-release, or if I'm going to do a really, you know, the newer version, which is somewhere up here broken. Where are you, B17? There it is. 909. So 909. I've probably mentioned this in another video. So before the advanced mode, I was building this B17, and I had logic that filled up. Do I have that build here? I probably do. Let's see. I will show you what I'm talking about. 909 breaks. I'm guessing it's this one. Yep, it's incompatible. Okay, so this is, or was, the B17 almost finished as is. I might tweak some things from what I've learned, but for the most part, it's the right look and feel that I wanted. I had to make this wider because of the logic, well, not the logic, but I wanted to be able to have you go inside. See, this actually has a seat. You can go inside the top turret. You can go inside the bottom turret. Of course, you can go in the back gun and the front gun, I think. Yeah, the front gun also had controls for the bottom turret here. So I had all that, and I wanted to make it work where you could go in it, so I had to make the plane wider. So the plane is bulkier than what it should be, but you can go in all the positions. So kind of a good trade-off, I think. But anyway, so what I have done is, with this arcade version, there we go. You know, I don't even have to do that, do I? But there's logic, and if we want to see it in the other view. So, duh, I could have done that earlier. All the logic here, besides the engines and the control surfaces and the bomb bay and the turrets, there was a lot of all this logic to simulate batteries. So, in here, in the cockpit, which is scary now that I look at it, because I don't remember how it works, but in this cockpit, I literally had a kind of a role-playing startup procedure in the arcade mode. So what would happen is you would come in here, you would switch on your fuel pumps, you would switch on your booster pumps, you would switch on your 4 ignitions, your magnetos, whatever, then your main ignition, and then you would have to prime the engine. I don't remember. Oh, I think prime was like on the seat. So you'd prime whichever engine you wanted, and then you would use a starter. And if the prime wasn't enough, according to what the fog or the weather was outside in the Stormworks world, then it would be a higher amount of prime that you would have to do, which isn't realistic, but whatever. The idea was that you'd have to prime a little bit more to get the engine started. Then the engine would start at 1, 2, and 3. You get those started. If you primed it too much, you could, I don't know if I finished this, but you could flood it, and then you would have to wait to let the fuel leave, or get out of the system a little bit so you could restart the engines. And then I had all this. I have no idea what these buttons do anymore. So I have to go back on the advanced mode B17 and hook this up. But what's cool is the advanced mode allows all of these features almost to be realistic and work within the game world without having to do all of this crazy logic. Because like I said, like these yellows are probably related to batteries, I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't remember how I was doing this. But I had to make my own batteries. So, oh, that's right. I forgot about that. So when you were starting this bomber, you would also have to turn on the back, generator to generate power for the batteries, the APU, because the batteries would start off low. So you would charge the batteries before you could turn on the engine, and then it had a hydraulic, which I probably still need to simulate for the advanced mode, but it had hydraulics for the control surfaces, I think, and the landing gear for sure, or maybe it was just flaps and landing gear, whatever. But you had to also charge the hydraulics, or fill them up. So you had a manual button here, and then manual button here, and auto button here, and once they reached 800 pounds of pressure or whatever, it would switch off a little generator sound. I'd have a rotor somewhere here spinning to make the sound of the pumps working, so you could hear the hydraulics pumping. So yeah, I love the B-17, but I haven't finished it yet. I just keep working on different planes and wondering what they're going to patch to make it more interesting each time. So yeah, so again, the B-17, people have been asking for it. It's been like a month, I think. I've been saying that I'm going to release this. I'm not saving this, am I? No, I'm not. Okay, load this. So this B-17, of course, these yellow parts are the fuel tanks. So if you go in there, you've got fuel tanks. And with the new patch, this fuel is probably, I'm guessing, probably about 46 gallons in here, probably about 15 gallons in here, who knows. So it's nowhere near the 200 gallons or whatever per engine I think they had on the B-17. Yeah, kind of a bummer. Also, I haven't tried it lately, but I tried to build the APU here and create the generators to charge the batteries, and I went through a bunch of hoops. I did different configurations, and this has been a while, like a month or so, but I did do this to try to charge the batteries while you were waiting to start your main engines, and I could not get enough power from the APU generators to charge the batteries for the bomber. So I don't know what I'm going to do. It might be that I need to add more batteries. So right now the B-17 has 3 batteries, which the real B-17 had, but I may have to up that. So there's batteries, I think they're in here, and so yeah, inside the engine wells, and I think there's one down here somewhere. So that's a problem. So I don't know. Stormworks is still a work in progress, and so my B-17 kind of remains a work in progress. So for right now, my whole goal is to get the HE-111s out, and then from there I'm going to go probably update one of the older planes, probably the Stuka, because someone was asking me about the Stuka working again. And yeah. Alright, so that's it for reals. Thanks for joining me. I hope you come watch some videos and leave some comments. It's nice to know that I'm making planes that you guys like to fly or play with, at least even if you play with it for just a little bit. It's kind of cool to let me know you guys play with the planes. So that's about it. I will see you later, and hopefully they release a patch this weekend. Alright, have a good day.